welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be building a lean-to roof. So last time we spent some time getting the posts set, so we've got our first two now braced up and in place. Now the posts are set, we're going to set our wall plate across the top and our wall plate across the post, and then set out our rafters. Stay tuned to see the finished result and see how it ends up.
So it's resin. Yeah, so quite often in construction you'll drill into something, especially like old buildings and that, and a wall plug won't work. So what you can do, especially on old buildings, is instead of using a wall plug, you fill it with resin and it will get into all them little pockets, you know what I mean? Fill it up, just solidify and go nice and hard. So we had a job, for instance, where they had, if you ever go abroad to like Greece and Spain or Italy or something like that, you'll see that they build the houses out of these terracotta bricks that are like hollow. And we had to fit door linings to them. So imagine you try and fix into that hollow brick basically, your wall plug just goes in and falls down the hole, do you know what I mean? So what you had to do is literally drill a hole, pump it full of resin, wait for it to go off, and then the next day come back and then drill a hole into the resin. It was an absolute nightmare. Right lads, if somebody wants to jump up there with Ollie, grab a rattler, you're gonna just screw straight through it all into the one behind. So they're gonna have one on the other side and you're gonna sandwich them together basically. Because everywhere else has got more posts, hasn't it? Whereas this one, this is the biggest gap because they wanted space to be able to get a forklift in. So we're going to have one all the way across the front, and then we're going to have another one inside of it. So we've got one going on the outside, haven't we? And then we're going to have another one inside of there to give it extra strength, do you know what I mean? Double it up. What's up, lads? That's not going to get any tighter because it's been welded to the base. Do you know what I mean? So that will go tighter because obviously it's got the flex in the steel, but that's as tight as that one's going to go, I would say. So that post is quite tight in there. So let's get this one leveled up now. So you've cut the double. Let's stack these up then. So you've got one more double to go on the end of there, haven't you? So that's that one. So they're the two that are going to do here. That's your double for there. And then we've got one more. So that's that one. What I'd like you to do is on that one, cut a single on one end. And then on the one underneath it, do us a double. So that one's 4.8, wasn't it? So if we just measure this. I want one of them 4.8s, leave one end, so that end's going to have nothing, that end's going to have your join, and then you want a 3.6, so one of them with the same joint on one end, yeah?
One joint?
Yeah, that makes sense? Yeah. So basically you're going to have a 4.8 with a joint on it and a 3.6 of a joint on it, yeah? But this one, so say that's your 4.8, isn't it? Check your camber. And your join wants to be at the bottom, doesn't it? Because that one around, like if you look at the one that Ollie's just put on, that's the wrong way really, isn't it? Because when you put your next one on, if you were doing it on your own, you just want to hook it onto that joint that you've done. That makes sense? Yeah. So imagine that's our post, imagine that's a 4x4 post. Our 4x4 post is going to be going there and we're going to fix through that in space. So it's not sitting as a wall plate like on top of the wall as you'd think. That'll be your post, that'll be your wall plate, and our bird's mouth will be bird's mouth over that. So it'll be coming down like that, doesn't it? Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out here is our bird's mouth. We've come 300 mil down at the minute, because they wanted 150mm upstand here. So the plan was to have that sitting 150mm higher basically. But what I'm struggling with now is to get a decent enough pitch on this roof. Where that string line set up at the minute is running at 12 degrees. I really want this at 15. So I can either lift this up or drop that end down. Well, I don't really want to drop that down too much because we've not got the head height then to sort of get things in if we need to. But I'm dictated on how high I can bring this up because I want to do a little bird's mouth on the bottom of there. So at the minute, we're just having a bit of a play about and see if we can figure it out. So what's basically happened is we put them wall plates slightly in the wrong position. Estates wanted quite a big gap so they could get some timber on there to do like a flashing, but it's not going to work with the pitch of the roof. So what we need to do is move that wall plate as high up as possible to basically try and get as steep a pitch as we need, because we need about 15 degrees. So what I was going to do is, unfortunately, he's going to take off these wall plates that he's done such a good job of putting on. He's going to move them up so it's just underneath them fixings that are there, and then refix them. Is that right, pal?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. That's what we're going to do.
What's the flashing they want?
So you know, like you normally have like a lead detail. So
Yeah,
where your
lead
roof,
flash.
they want to do that. So what the plan was that they would screw a piece of ply all the way underneath that fascia, basically 150mm, and that would then run onto the roof. But obviously, it's not going to work because we don't have the pitch that we need. So we need to lift that up higher, and then maybe drop this down, this front down a little bit to give us the pitch that we need.
How does the 150mm ply goes onto the steel below the...
No, so you see where that bit of timber basically is?
Yeah, yeah.
You see where that timber finish is?
Yeah.
Between the top of that timber and the fascia basically, you'd have 150mm ply running all the way through.
What? Yeah, but what would the water run down that?
You'd have like a lead flashing, wouldn't you?
Oh, the lead goes on top
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that, right.
But they probably won't do a lead flashing, they'll probably do like flash band or something.
Yeah.
Right, go above that green string line, pull it tight. Right, move that string line up, Ollie. Bring it down. Well, there. Mark where that hits the back of that timber, the corner of the post. Yeah, that's it. Mark that. Off that green string line now, to the top of that mark. What have we got? That was 94. Yeah, that'll work then. Okay, so what I want you to do now is, Dylan, if you grab one of them timbers, that 4.8 that you had, with the cut on one end. Okay, Ollie, go off that line, yeah, not off that one.
Yes.
Go down off that line, 120mm,
Yeah.
and that's where this timber's going to get screwed to.
Top or bottom?
Top. So off that line, 120mm down, yeah. So we're here on another wonderful day. It's not quite as sunny as it was last time, but we're here to wrap up this lean-to mono pitch roof that we've been doing. So we've got most of our sort of rafters in now, holding these basically posts in the position that we need them. And what the lads are starting to do now is they're going to infill. So they're working at 600 centres, so they're just going to start measuring them now, because unfortunately this building has got a bit of a bow to it. So all the birds' mouths are staying the same, but the length of the rafter is changing. So stay tuned to follow what we're doing basically. So check your camber, yeah, so that one's that way. So that's my top there. So I always just put a big arrow pointing up. Obviously when we're doing these rafters, once we've done the bird's mouth, it can only go on one way, can't it? But if we're doing floor joists, for an example, it's always good to mark which way the camber's going to go. If you're doing really tall stud work as well, do your cambers as well, do you know what I mean? So like if you're doing a stud wall for a bathroom, for an example, and you've got a bow in, you've got a camber in that wall like a bow in it, and say it's going to be a bathroom, I would put it so the bow is facing out of the bathroom. So basically the inside wall of that bathroom would have a bow to it, because when they come to tile it, they can build out that bow with tile adhesive, can't they? So we can mark this end, can't we, because we're going 15 degrees. So we've already got our plumb cut marks on, well, on this. So do your plumb cut down there. Okay. What we need to do now is measure down what our bird's mouth's going to be. So that is already on there, isn't it? So luckily we've got our template down here, which was that one, 130 mil. So on here, I always measure off the 100 mil mark. Because you've got your roofing square, you're just going to bring that across and line your seat cut up. So your seat cut's there, isn't it? Mark your seat cut through there, okay? And then what we were leaving, what we're taking out for the bird's mouth is the thickness of the timber, isn't it? So this timber is about 47 mil, isn't it? So plumb cut off that mark, so that's coming out and all that's coming out, isn't it? So Henry, you all like doing this because you love using your circular saw, don't you? You can, it's sometimes easier to cut that side of it, so even though we're on the wrong side of the line, we've got more of the bed of the saw on the material. Whereas here, when you're cutting through, as you get to the end, the saw's naturally wanting to fall away from itself, isn't it? Okay. So you're coming down that line there, but when we're cutting this, remember, this is not so important because obviously it's not meeting anything at the top. This is important. We want to be cutting the waist side of the line because we don't want to be taking too much out because then our bird's mouth wouldn't be correct, would they? So all I've done there is I've cut through to where my marks finish. What some people do is they cut past it and cut past it so that falls out. And then the problem is you're weakening the timber, aren't you? Because you're cutting too far past where you need to be, okay? So Henry, do you want to just tidy that up now, mate? So now what we're going to do is measure out where our bird's mouth's going to go. So we're going 3034, so all the way down here. So we're going 3034, okay? What I'm going to do is just going to mark that there, and I'm just going to do myself a couple of lines, and they're sort of moving up at a little bit of an angle. So I've got a series of lines there. I'm just going to join them together in a ever so slight arc. With this one, you can see on here, we've marked that pencil mark there. That's how much we're leaving in for our bird's mouth. So what we're going to do is put that on the top now, so we're marking our plumb cut. Bring this down until that pencil mark hits that line. So bring that all the way down. Once that hits that line, that's where I'm going to stop. And now I'm going to mark the plumb cut, okay? Where them two lines now cross over each other, I'm now going to bring that through and I'm going to mark the seat cut, okay? Where them two are, drag that line through. Okay, you might have to, because the square is not quite long enough, is just finish that off, just freehand it, okay? That's that. That now is our bird's mouth, okay? And you've got to do every single one after that. So remember, when we come to cut this now, that there is going to be on there, so the blade is in the waist of the line, and then when we come that side, the same there. So we want to basically leave that pencil line in, basically, okay? Just watch that, Henry. See, there's like a tiny little bit. So it just means when you push that tight, because there's a little bit, you can just see where the circuit's gone through. You just need to take that last little bit out. It'll stop your bird's mouth going tight out.
Did we check that? Did we check that before we marked it? No. I can tell that. Yeah. It looks nice though, doesn't it? Look at that cut on there, mate. It's absolutely mint. What we'll do is we'll brace that back, shall we? Just so we got something to push to. But it does work, which is good. Do you prefer that method or do you prefer measuring it? Yeah? It'll be quicker, won't it? Can you just measure what mark I've put on the top of there? Was it 130 down? Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to mark the pitch line here, so that then when we offer the rafter up, we can go up the depth of the bird's mouth. When we cut the bird's mouth out, it'll all drop down together. Because if we have it on the angle and we drop down on the bird's mouth, the pitch is going to be wrong then, isn't it? So we're just going to kick it up enough for the pitch. What I always do as well, lads, is I mark the bird's mouth that we're going to cut off the top. Although we don't need it for now, I always mark it on there, just in case you adjust that angle and it changes it slightly. At least you know now you marked it when you're doing your pattern, and we can cut it off. When we bring it back down, we haven't got to remark it again, have we? And to get the depth of that bird's mouth, all I use is off-cut of the wood. That's what our wall plate is, isn't it? So just put that alongside it, mark down the side. We've got our bird's mouth marked there, and what I find easier, because we know that what that plumb cut is already, I just use a square, because you know that bit of timber's 90 degrees, don't you? So I just use a square on the plumb cut to mark it back, especially when it's a low pitch, because trying to use the seat cut on there, you miss half the square off at the end and you have to try and extend the line across then. So if we just put a cross there, look, that's how much we held it above, that's how much we're going to take out, and then just use that on your seat cut. Yeah, that's the one, but the other way around, so if you flip it around like that, yeah, it doesn't actually go as far as it needs to, because it's such a shallow angle, so you can only get to there, so just extend that over. I just use a square, extend that over, yeah, and all I do is just cross that out so you don't get confused with that. Mark it like that, just because it's really easy to flip it over and then forget where you got to. That's all we want. And then a little notch at this, a little bird's mouth at this end as well. Let me just double check that, because I was taking it off one of these, which is 130 from the top. Yeah, that is right. Yeah, perfect. Lovely job, mate.
What we're doing is, because unfortunately some of these rafters ain't the best, they've got a little bit of a bow in them and everything, we're going to run a row of noggins all the way through here. It's going to help pull the bows out, it's going to give the roof a bit more strength basically. So what we're doing now is we're finding the centre of them timbers. So that's what Henry's going to measure out now. We've marked Joe's end, we're going to put the same measurement on here because we've got a slight bow to the building. So what we'll do is we'll measure off this front wall plate. So all these noggins run parallel off this wall plate, and if we've got any discrepancy, it'll be between the building and the noggins. So Henry, do you want to come this side, mate? What we're going to do, I'll hold the tape on here. 1455. No, you take the tape. So I want you to mark 1455 onto the bottom of the rafter. Hi guys, so we're almost finished here now, so you can see the lads have got most of the rafters in down here, but if I just take you down here, I'll show you. We've got a little bit of a gap here, and basically we're missing 3 rafters here and another 2 at the end, and the reason for that is Unfortunately, we had a few timbers that are a bit too bowed, a bit too twisted for our liking, so we've used them up, they've not gone to waste. We managed to use them for the noggins going down the run of here, but we just need another 3 here, but unfortunately we're not going to get that finished today. It's our last day at the college for our apprentices, and we're not going to be able to get any timber here before they go. So they've had a good job, good day, they've got most of this on, they had a good tidy up, and now they're finishing, ready for the summer holidays. So I hope you enjoyed watching today, and we'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.